Hello, my name is JBGeorges. I am here to present the WCOnline online tutoring platform before the Flinner ISD. And one of the things that I find really appealing about this particular software is that it's very helpful, especially during these very stressful times, especially during the COVID pandemic. There's obviously a lot of uncertainty about how long this pandemic is going to last, especially with the recent variants that have been emerging, also about how it's interrupting overall learning and academic operations at schools everywhere. Obviously, there's a lot of difficulty in terms of communicating about programs, courses, and requirements. A lot of inefficiency and disruptions to receiving and responding requests from students. It's very stressful for a lot of instructors and staff members, and also trying to figure out how to pair students with appropriate instructors and tutors who have specific needs to help them further themselves along in their academic careers. And obviously, with a lot of limited time and resources, it's very difficult to give students personalized attention, especially with all the crazy demands that are happening right now. For a lot of instructors as well as for tutors, difficulties scheduling and tracking, especially when you're working remotely. In addition to that, everyone is just overwhelmed by the need to monitor and track the progress of their students to make sure they're successful. And it's very hard to also maintain those kinds of connections, especially when everyone's concerned about their own personal well-being and their health. But with all these considerations, there are opportunities to try to find solutions. As a matter of fact, a few months ago, on September 9th, there was the Senate Bill 15 that was passed that would fully fund and support asynchronous and synchronous instructions for students from grades K through 12. And this is according to the Texas Education Agency. And there's a link right there. So it's real, it's legitimate. So there is support, there is funding for it. But we also want to make sure that we're providing meaningful, engaging online tutoring and academic support for all of our students to make sure that we're accommodating the large student population of Flinner ISD, and also to provide services and amenities at the least amount of cost to us and to our students. So we also want to make sure that we have a system that provides updates on our students and make sure that our stakeholders are aware of the progress and services that are happening through this particular service that we are trying to employ or utilize, this particular tool. Make sure that we're centralizing all the information and all of the requests and needs of our students and our stakeholders all in one place. Also, make sure that we're providing the best possible private instruction and communication with regards to students' requests and needs before, during, and after sessions. Make sure it's convenient access for everyone to get content for courses, schedules, and updates, and to make sure that it's accessible and manageable by the IT staff, faculty, and administrators. So this is why I'm presenting WCOnline. Now, why this particular tool? Well, it helps with scheduling, record keeping, and reporting systems for academic support centers and departments, especially when it comes to providing help with tutoring. It could also be used for even peer mentorships and partnering different personnel and institutions to work on various projects. But for this particular purpose, we're focusing on tutoring and academic support. So the software itself is web-based, it's easy, intuitive, and provides scheduling and also customized and secure record keeping. And it's a very powerful graphical report. And we'll take a look at that later. So some of the special features that it does provide announcements. So it allows faculty, staff, administrators to provide updates on curricula, assignments, courses, the availability of tutors and services. It does provide virtual communication, especially during this pandemic. So it's very, very useful for students and tutors to communicate with their students, instructors and tutors to communicate with their students. Also to view and schedule appointments, so you can see them. So it's one thing when someone's calling in to make an appointment versus you can just go online virtually and see the schedule and see blackout dates and times, so that way you can try to pair up with the available instructors. And that's part of the instructor and tutor directory, where you can search about availability, but also the specializations of instructors and tutors. So moving forward, it is web-based. It has measurable impact on learning outcomes. It is something that can be applied to almost any subject or any specialty or any area. Personalized online tutoring is a great feature. and it can provide live tutoring as well as asynchronous options, leave questions, and also assignment reviews. So this is a great tool for that particular purpose, and available 24/7, 365 days a year. So that's great. Who else is using this? Well, some of the leading colleges and universities within the United States already use this tool for their college students. And even though we may be K through 12, we are preparing our students for the possibility of pursuing post-secondary study. So if you look at Ivy League institutions like Yale, we have a variety of Texas state institutions, Texas A&M, University of Texas Arlington, TCU, Austin College, and Collin College, which is actually just north of the Dallas area. And we also have a variety of other prestigious institutions. But it was interesting because I actually reached out to WCOnline just to kind of get a clear sense of who else they have. And unfortunately, they're not allowed to release their list of partnering institutions. However, in this email from the support representative, they actually are a service that has been subscribed by a variety of public and private primary, secondary, and higher education institutions. So this is actually great information and great justification for us exploring this as a possibility, WCOnline as a possibility. Now, the thing is, we have to remember that there are some students who prefer the virtual environment when it comes to tutoring, and especially online is very accessible for some students, and it's just a lot easier, especially being able to do it from the comfort of their own homes. And in some cases, even having parents there to make sure the students are being tutored, especially those students who are given authorization to study remotely. Some subjects may not be offered for tutoring options on campus, and with tutoring options, there are a lot of limitations, especially when it comes to late evenings if you need help with a particular assignment, weekends, or even holidays. And a lot of students are not able to come to campus for tutoring, and especially during the pandemic, we have to be mindful of social distancing, living far from campus, and also safety considerations, especially since most students, especially within the FISD, are at home in the evening, and we don't want students coming out for tutoring late in the evening. And also, when it comes to institutional operations, we do have to be mindful of the fact that a lot of our accreditations, approvals, and funding require us providing services for students who are online, so it needs to be comparable to what we would offer to a student who was on campus. So we should explore this as an opportunity for us to provide additional services for those students who fit that category. And obviously, there are a lot of advantages here because it allows us as Flinner ISD to have the flexibility to establish our own policies for how we want to use the software or use the tool itself. It allows our faculty to incorporate course materials and curricula and pedagogy. We're maintaining compliance with the federal regulations, especially with regards to the State Bill 15 and the TEA, the Texas Education Agency. Student-tutor interaction will happen on this platform using whiteboards and webcams to ensure that we're having actual connections, but there can also be some interaction offline as well. But it's web-based, doesn't require any downloads and installations or special software equipment, and it's compatible with desktop computers, laptops, and mobile devices. Now, live tutoring, the question drop-offs, and assignment review, these are all going to be great features that students will be able to connect with instructors in real time, also be able to do things either synchronously or asynchronously in terms of communication and asking questions, and then also assignment review. Students can upload and submit files for their assignments. So these are just some of the features that I was going to kind of breeze through, but the interface is very simple to use, and some of the features include data collection forms, access, and has different access levels when you log in, and so you can see what kind of schedule you want to pursue. Also, it has synchronous online meetings. You can see from the interface, you see a tutor and a student engaging right there, and then there's the whiteboard that they're using. Also allows for students to use whatever email addresses they want to use to create their profile. Most likely, we can use the institutional email accounts, and even instructors and tutors can utilize it, and administrators can use this tool. Client record management, schedule management, so you can kind of create and schedule and availability of the staff and resource management. Starting availability management, so that way you know when instructors can make themselves available. And then you can also add into these features, and you can also create slots of availability. And this is where you can also put in blackout times, which is a great feature because not all instructors or tutors are available all the time. And that way students try to figure out how to best fit their schedules around their availability. And also announcements. That's a very important feature because sometimes students and faculty, staff, tutors do not get information right away. So as soon as the information is available, it can make sure that they're consistent by having it on a variety of platforms, including this particular software. Mass email messages can be sent out. It also allows for data reporting. So you can extract data and see the utilization of the systems. You can view it, you can print it, you can export it into Word or Excel file, whatever software you want to use for reporting, and also master report listings. You can see the system utilization, see how frequently it's being utilized by students and for how long. Also, global system setting, form setup. You can create your and customize your own forms. Early flag reports, so you can find out if a student is having issues or if they are, if they've completed or if they've made it to the session, or if the student has not been showing up for sessions. You can also create a setup where you can actually block students from utilizing the system to show that there are penalties for not showing up for their sessions. And you can also create surveys. You can get feedback from students, and within the system too, it also allows you the feature of giving postmortem, so you can write up reports about the student's progress and what has been accomplished. So that allows you to set it up in the forms area, and also the time clock that allows students to check in when they are there for their sessions, and it goes on the record. So that being said, where do we go from here? What should be the next steps? Well, for the most part, there are a variety of resources available for us to review and research WCOnline as an option. Obviously, there are other services out there, but I have to say that from my research, nothing has been as robust as this particular system, this particular tool, in terms of providing tutoring support services to students, whether they be primary, secondary, post-secondary study. But there are options on this site for you to try it out. So there are free demos at the link up there. Also, you'll see there's a free view with an introductory video to show how the tool actually operates, and there's also free walkthrough, a full walkthrough of the entire system from start to finish. And if that is probably not feasible, we can still also contact them directly to get more information and to work with an account manager. And from here, what's most important is that we just need a lot of involvement from our entire community. So we need our Flinner ISD team, our administrators, faculty, staff, instructors, tutors, all our stakeholders to be involved, because we need to collaborate to figure out just how feasible it is for us to adopt this or integrate this into our into the FISD system, especially with regards to customizing, implementing, and training of our personnel and students to utilize it. And as I mentioned before, we can always contact WCOnline to get more information and to get address some of the customizations that we might potentially need. But based on that, we can definitely talk very much about drafting and presenting our own budget, both fiscal and operational, and bring those proposals to the Flinner ISD body to receive approval in time for next academic year, or possibly even beyond. But do keep in mind that it's a very simple system. They actually have the system created. All we need to do is customize it for content and the profiles of those who we want to have access to it. And do keep in mind that the cost is very, very inexpensive. It's only $800 a year at $75 per month. And that can be either used for the individual Flinner ISD system, or we can do it for each Flinner ISD school. So depending on how many schools we have, do the math, that'll definitely be a larger cost. However, there are some institutions that have systems similar to ISD that actually just use one system for the entire institution system itself. So those are some options that we might want to consider. So that being said, just want to thank you for your time and listen to my presentation. Kind of went a little over, but I think it's very important for all of us to consider the possibilities and opportunities that are out there for us to improve the quality of services to accommodate our students, especially during these difficult and challenging times, and try to stay safe and keep on learning. So thank you very much, and Any questions, please feel free to email me and I'll take it from there. Thank you. Bye-bye.